Alright, so this is my top 10 worst films of 2015. Funny enough, this list didn't take as long as the best of, because it actually took me a bit to get 10 movies that I wanted on that list, and then I ended up with like 13 of them. This one, funny enough, like I just pretty much was like, oh fuck, I got like 20 things. I gotta whittle it down. Alright, this is really bad, fuck this, you know, that stuff. So anyway, number 10, Hitman Agent 47. This is mainly on the list because I don't remember what happens in it. I watched it, and all I remember was that, hey, this is better than the one with Timothy Olyphant a bunch of years ago. And that's all I remember. I don't remember what the plot was. I just remember, like, the fight sequences were pretty good. Like, the action part was cool. And that's all I remember. So that's why it's on the list. Number 9. The Lazarus Effect. Now, got this kind of flatliners looking kind of movie, and yeah, Olivia Wilde gets possessed by some demon devil shit, and yeah, and then jump scare horror movie ensues. Number 8, Unfriended. I don't know why I said it in the review, but I don't know why I thought there was going to be more to the movie than there was. Now, like I said in the review, I thought it was going to be, we knew it was found footage, but I thought there was going to be more to it than just a screen grab of the bitch's computer. I seriously thought it was like, oh, found footage, like in like Paranormal Activity 4, where it was like, oh yeah, it's the footage, and then it's the Skype calls, you know, I thought there was going to be other stuff, because the way all the trailer had it, was like that, and then because you saw like the footage of the girl like killing herself, so I was like, oh, it's found, okay, multiple platform found footage. We get to the movie like 5 to 10 minutes in, and I was like leaning over to Glee like, is this what the movie is? Is this the whole movie? And she's like, yeah, you didn't know? She was like, you're the one who knows movies, I thought you know. I was like, I don't know, I thought there would be more to it. How dare I, you know, have like a better expectation of a movie. But, yeah, that review was like, the review was like half the length of the movie. Like, that's the whole joke of it, was that it was just long and drawn out and stupid. Because a lot of people were saying like, oh my god, it's really scary, which is, oddly enough, why we listened to someone and went to go see it. Oh, we were like, yeah, let's go see it, and then it was just like, oh no, it's not. We were just like, this is stupid, you know. My hair is not very green anymore. I need to redo it. And number 7 is a three-way tie. And I call this the no one asked for these movies. We got Poltergeists, Sinister 2, and Insidious Chapter 3. Poltergeist, no one asked for this remake. They didn't bring anything new to the movie itself to be like, oh, hey, this remake, it did this differently. Yeah, there was like that part with the drones and shit, but that was it. Freaking Sam Rockwell wasn't dancing, that upsetted me. You know, like, the original Poltergeist still, you know, stands, you know, it still works now. The whole time you're watching the remake, all you're thinking is like, fuck, I could be watching the original one, which is way better. And the fact that, like, this one added the whole, like, random box of clowns kind of shit, that was stupid. And the fact that, like, the main poster, like, there were several different variation of posters, but the main poster had the fucking clown to it. It's like, well, alright, you know. Well, Sinister 2, for Sinister, it was alright. It was, like, this whole, like, the movie, like, when it started off, it, like, kind of drew me in, because the movie starts off with, like, people being, like, hung. You're like, oh, shit, you know? And then, like, the evil spirit, bad juju thing is, like, Mick from Slipknot, you know? And you're like, sure, why not? And you're supposed to believe that, like, there's always a kid who, like, a missing kid, and it ends up being the missing kid who's actually the one who murders them. And you're like, oh my god, you know? The original one, like, it kind of worked because of what Ethan Hawke, you know, being, like, a real crime writer, all that stuff. But the second one is, like, that deputy guy who helped him just, you know, like, he becomes, like, too involved in that kind of stuff. So he's now being, like, I guess, ghost hunter kind of dude, you know? And because it's a shitty sequel, you know, obviously you couldn't get, like, Vincent D'Onofrio. You're like, oh, he went missing. Thanks for that exposition. it was just like, all right. And the whole time it's like, oh well, obviously him and like Shannon Sossaman are gonna be like a love interest, and then oh, it turns out like, oh, and things and people die and stuff and whatever. Okay, sure. And then with Insidious Chapter 3, it was a fucking prequel. You know, like the first Insidious movie was alright. The second one just kind of like if you watch the two literally like back to back, it's like this like 3 hour long movie about this family having a shitty history. And then the prequel one, Chapter 3, just shows like, oh, it's this girl and stuff happens in this apartment. It's like pretty much giving a backstory to the woman who had like helped them, I guess, get rid of demons and stuff, who had died in the second movie, to just, I guess, bring her and her people back to be like, oh, this is the case I worked on before, you know, Patrick Wilson. And you're like, alright. Number 6, Terminator Genisys. Now this is very up on the list. I think if it was anything else, it probably would be a little bit lower, or even like a mention. But I am a huge fan of the Terminator series. More of, you know, the first one and second one. And actually the show, finally, I think, last year, I finally got a chance to really rewatch the show. I remember watching a couple episodes here and there. But the show wasn't bad. I was kind of watching, like, after the end of the second season. I'm like, ah, shit, I want to know what happened. Pretty interesting. But, you know, I was never really a big fan of, like, the third one, because it was just ridiculous. The fourth one was, like, better. So I was like, oh, you need a third. The fourth one negates the third one, you know? Fuck it. But then, like, this one completely negates the entire series. Like, at first, what the advertisement makes it look like is that you're totally doing a full reboot of the series. You know, yeah, you have Schwarzenegger back as the Terminator. And it's just like, okay, so the whole thing with Robert Patrick, all that stuff, oh, it's a different guy, it's an Asian dude, fine, cool, so we're redoing the first and second movie in one new movie, but then you're like, oh, wait, that part of the movie was only, like, the first 10 minutes, but now it's like, oh, we're, flash forward to 2017, and Skynet stuff, you know, and it made you, like, have so many, like, feelings for the Terminator himself. Like, I know in the Sarah Connor Chronicles, like, you're supposed to obviously, like, care for her, but it's also, like, you know, it's Summer Glau, how can you not love her? But even, like, in Terminator 2, where you're you know, you're supposed to be relating to the kid, and the kid didn't really have a father figure, well, he, you know, didn't really know about Kyle Reese. So his father figure is the Terminator, you know, and so you have more feelings for, like, the kid, you know, like, I guess, relatable feelings, that kind of feelings. This one, like, you find yourself being like, Schwarzenegger's getting old, it's old, great, and then, like, the fact that, like, you know, fucking Daenerys is, like, calling him, like, Pops and stuff, and you're just like, oh, and it's like, what? They're like, oh, why is he so old? Like, oh, because this, like, the, you know, at the fucking, you know, skin and stuff ages while his robo-self doesn't, and you're like, okay. It's just, oh god, the guy that they chose to play John Connor, because it's funny, because you go from, like, Edward Furlong, to, what's his fucking name? I always forget his name. It was in, like, Sin City and and Carnival and all those other random things. Then I think then to, what's his name, Thomas Dekker, and then to Christian Bale. And then you get to this guy. And I'm just saying, you had a good series of, like, pretty, like, decent looking guys, and then you just go with, like, this dude who was in, like, an Everest, and he was in Zero Dark 30, that Australian dude. That Australian dude, everyone knows his name. You go from him, and he's just like, and normally, you know, John Connor, you know, because he's like the, you know, fucking Resistance, all that shit, you're supposed to be like, you know, you're supposed to, like, be with him, and I guess because he's such, like, he played such a douchebag character that you don't, that, like, what I'm trying to say as I'm blabbing on like this, what I'm trying to say is that normally you're supposed to be obviously on the side of John Connor. This time you kind of want them to kill John Connor, and it was just like, I don't know, I feel like they were just trying to do something with the series and just fully mulligan it, and I thought, like, if they were going to do another, you know, Terminator one, I thought it would be like, you know, I guess at least a slight continuation from Salvation, not that it needed another story on top of it, but, like, I don't know, and like I was only interested to go seeing the movie because again the trailer showed that he would have to fight his like his past self, and I thought that was fucking hilarious. But no, this was special. This is special, and I love Terminator. Yeah. All right, number 5, Pixels. Because why not? Why not? There has to be a fucking Adam Sandler movie on here because holy fucking shit, like. I didn't care to, obviously see it because it's Adam Sandler, but it's just like the negative reviews I saw from it, I was like, alright, well, it's not bad, I gotta see it. Most of the negative reviews, I feel like I said in the review, that I felt that just people just wanting to, like, just air out their hatred for him. Not that I love the man, but it's like, it's just so horrible, like, he's just a horrible person, I'm gonna make fun of this woman crying, about her divorce, and then all of a sudden she's like, well, it's an Adam Sandler movie, I'm suddenly enlightened and loving you. Like, this is poor writing, and we're supposed to, like, care about this guy, and poor Peter Dinklage, he does his best, and then, like, Josh Gad playing the fat guy, as I was saying, again, like, it's all shit I said in the review, it's just, and it was just like, I feel like, in all honesty, if the CG of the video game characters weren't like as decent as they were, this would have been higher on the list. Be like, alright, take him off. Well, like I've said in the review, Kevin James, get away from him. You're a funny guy. You do not need Adam Sandler because I feel like he's bringing down your career. Number 4, Jupiter Ascending. Oh man, I'm gonna look this, it's on my Tumblr, I fucking like live blogged me like watching this movie, and it was just so freaking ridiculous, and those of you who don't follow me on Tumblr, I'm gonna read it for you right now, it's very quick. So, this is also the time where like, I finally saw the movie, I think, probably like a good like 6 months after the movie came out. And before then, I was like, oh, hey, let me just sit through Exodus. And then that was, like, a horrible decision. But, anyway, so I put like, oh, I'm trying to go through Jupiter Ascending. They go, oh my god, it's bad. It's a kind of sci-fi movie that would have worked in the late 80s to mid-90s. Or just with better actors. I stopped at 30 minutes. Like, at 30 minutes, it's like, oh, give me a second. So far, Channing Tatum is some alien/human/wolf hybrid who has to save Mila Kunis, and her name is Jupiter Jones. Haha. Oh, he uses hover skates. They're like gravity boots that let him hover 3 inches from the ground and skate along it to go fast. Yay! This movie is 2 hours long. Also, Eddie Redmayne is Michael cheating the hell out of his role, which he was, because he's like, oh, I'm talking like this, and then I am yelling, and it's like, alright, bro, and it's just fucking hell, Wachowskis, what the hell are you doing, And then I continue on with, who keeps maxi pads in their glove compartment? They steal a car to leave Chicago. Tatum is bleeding. And they're so fucking lucky that they stole a woman's car because she keeps maxi pads in the glove compartment. But Mila puts the pads sticky side down on top of the wound, which I definitely remember seeing going, ow. They get to this house that's covered with bees. Sean Bean's there. Mila can control bees. People from the intergalactic planet universe thing all speak out a whisper. Yeah, like all the Eddie Redmayne people are like, oh, fucking... ooh, my underwear, like that kind of shit. The space dresses are nice, like the costumes are good, because Wachowski's, like, they get that shit nice. I'm surprised Sean Bean's still alive. 1 more hour left in the movie. There needs to be riff tracks for this. There needs to be, because this is fucking ridiculous. The second half of the movie begins with a 5-minute montage of bureaucratic bullshit. They seriously go through the whole fill out Form A and get it stamped to get Form B, but not before getting your tax ID. Like, they literally go through this whole thing where, like, it was funny how they did it in, like, Hitchhiker's Guide in that movie, but this one's just, like, the movie comes to, like, a dead stop, because you go from, like, these, like, it's like a super serious sci-fi movie to all of a sudden, like, hey, all of a sudden, put some jokes in there. Like, what? So there's a space battle with Tatum while Mila gets tricked into getting married. Yeah, and she has on that dress that, like, it's amazing. It's a nice dress and the hair thing and all that stuff, but Let's see. I have to say the costumes and makeup are good in this movie. Anyway, the last 30 minutes is the rest of the space battle with Tatum saving the day and Sean Bean surviving the movie. But when the credits hit, it makes sense that this was a Wachowski movie. Yeah, it was just, oh man, that was I remember just being like, what the fuck? Oh, and there's a part where like the whole movie, like she tries so hard to fucking like kiss Channing Tatum while he's like, nah, bitch, like I'm here to like help you and save you. I'm not your like he even is like literally like, yo, I am not your love interest. Don't, and I'm also closer to like the dog of your people than the human sub. And then she's like, I like dogs. What? Where? Ew, bitch. Like, ew. Like, oh my god, this movie. And then that like one chase scene that took like 6 straight months to film. And like, I remember reading that before I saw the movie, and then I saw the movie and I was like, oh my god, I don't know why that needed to take that long. You could have just fucking like done what you Wachowski guys, excuse me, like Wachowski, you know, siblings do, which is film in front of green screen. Like, I don't know what, like, I don't know what they did to make it, to have the 6 months straight? Like, 6 months straight of filming for this, like, was it like a 8-minute long, not even 6-minute long, like, chase scene? Like, what the fuck? It didn't even look that good. It's one thing, I was like, oh fuck, that looked really good. Well, you know, I can see all that hard work into it. But this is like, what? You did what? You know? Jeez. Yeah. So number 3. Project Almanac. So, yeah, this movie quickly went away. So, 2 things that in a movie that shouldn't have been combined. Found footage and time travel. You can have a found footage movie, do you? And then you can have a time travel movie. But when you put the 2 together, it is awful. Because there are so many times, obviously, in time travel movies, that happens in this one, where you go like, well, if you went back in time several times to fix something that every time you try to fix, what happened to the previous you that do you run into the previous you from the previous time? Oh, no, it just so happens, you know, like, it just, no, I'm not here. Like, I don't, that whole, like, thing that they definitely are at least good at keeping up with frickin', you know, like Doctor Who and stuff. Like, oh, you're gonna run into yourself and that's not okay. These, like, with this movie, they're just like, oh, well, negate that. I'm gonna constantly go back to Lollapalooza to, you know, make the girl happy and all that stuff. Or like, hey, we got to Lollapalooza somehow with no tickets, but then all of a sudden, like, the main guy shows up out of nowhere, like, even though we're in the not venue, but the space that Lollapalooza's at, with like, hey guys, I got backstage passes I bought the day after, you know, the day after on eBay, which is like, that part's smart, but like, how did you guys get in the first place if you didn't have the, you know what I mean, like, that shit. And the fact that, like, the whole movie is, like, this kid being so goddamn, like, selfish, you know? Because they're like, hey, let's go back in time as friends to benefit everything ourselves. So, like, the one girl who was getting picked on a lot, so, you know, like, the girls, like, run into her with, like, the drink, and then she comes back, like, splash. She's like, what? I'm everywhere. Like, okay, fine. You know, as a teenager, believe me, I would have wanted to just be like, bitch, like that, but fine. But then, like, after a while, the kid's, like, really selfish, and then, like, they were like, oh, we don't, like, travel, like, you know, by ourselves. But, like, the whole movie starts off with them finding the video of his, like, 8th birthday or something, and you see it was just him by himself, so you knew he was gonna travel by himself. It was gonna happen anyway, you know? And then, like, the fact that you took, like, an Xbox 360, like, to power the time travel thingy, like, come on, man, you need something with better processing than that. Like, the whole movie was just so convoluted, you know, and it's like, I think, what was it, like, in the end, like, it ended up, like, not happening anymore. Like, they kind of end up being like, oh, mulligan, like, that kind of shit. But then it makes you go, like, where did the footage come from? Like, like, in the end, it's like, they go up to the attic where kind of, how, like, it all started, where like, oh, hey, I found this camera, which somehow is still charged, and look at your 8th birthday, where you're, like, 16 or something, because you're trying to get into college, like trying to get into MIT or something like that. And then the sister goes, "Oh, I didn't know we had a second camera." And then like it shows like the video, like the last time, like, you know, shows a video, be like, "Hey, look, I found your 8th birthday." Like, what? And they kind of look at the camera like, what? Like, pretty much saying that they've done this like a lot of times, like going back in history and all that shit. And it's like, no, 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 no. With lots of conviction, slamming on my desk. Hopefully it won't break. No. Just no. Like, and like, none of the kids, not none of the kids, but like, the main kid was not likable. You know, the friends were like, they were likable, but it was also like, you felt bad for them for being friends with them. It's like the three main kids, they were nerds. So it was like, yeah, it was the fucking, like, the main kid is like supposed to be the attractive nerd. And then you got the stereotypical Jewish smart kid who was with them, and then you got like the Asian kid who was his friend. So you got like the three kind of nerds. It's kind of like fucking, what's his name in American Dad, you know. And since he's the better looking, you know, nerd, it's like, oh, well, obviously we'll like him because he's the better looking nerd. Like, even if you put like an ugly nerd in there, like, fuck it. But it's like, you don't really give a fuck about any of the kids. Like, you felt bad for the Jewish kid. I definitely felt bad for the Asian kid, being like, oh, I got lumped my ass into this. But yeah, like, you kind of just don't care what happens to the kids. Like, I literally, at one point watching the movie, I just, like, especially during the bullshit part of Lollapalooza, all I kept thinking was just, like, I hope they die, you know, which is horrible. Oh, and also, parts with, like, there's so much for me to rant about with the Lollapalooza part. There's, like, all of a sudden, your camera is, like, waterproof, you know, like, but I think one of them, like, there was, like, a GoPro, like, on the backpack, so fine, you have a case for that. But then, like, the part where, like, he kept meeting up with the girl, like, going back and talking to the girl instead of making her cry or saying something weird and, like, trying to make things well, like, all of a sudden, like, some reason there's always someone filming this. Like, it's that thing with found footage where, like, who is filming this? Is one of your friends just being, like, a creep and just being, like, dude, I was totally watching you talking to this girl. And no one, like, I guess whomever was filming it was like, hey, dude, like, I was totally filming you, and at one point you had no backpack on, and then all of a sudden you had a backpack, and then you didn't have a backpack on. Like, come on, man. Like, that kind of shit. Oh my god, that was just fucking ridiculous. There's just so much, there's so many things wrong with the goddamn movie. Like, a huge list, but that's why it's number 3. Alright. Number 2. Pan. I put up that, that was actually the last, like, movie review I put up. So, yeah, that was fucking horrible, and the whole, like, you know, as you could see, like, in that review, it was just a lot of, like, backstory of, like, this is Peter Pan before he was Peter Pan, and that kind of shit. It was just out of nowhere, and it doesn't make any sense, and like I said, like, like, I swear, like, literally 5 to 10 minutes into the movie, I seriously just texted Mo and Glee, and I was like, yo, if you thought whitewashing that bitch was bad, oh my god, this shit. And it's just so, like, convoluted, like, all over the place, the whole, like, crushing up the fucking, you know, fairy dust meth and, like, getting, like, oh my god, what the fuck, you know, like, he might as well be, like, bathing in, like, the fucking, you know, like, children's blood or something. Actually, I probably would have been more fine with him bathing in children's blood than him just snorting up, like, fucking, you know, the fucking, you know, like, fairy dust shit, and oh my god, and that whole, like, nudge, nudge, wink, wink stuff, like, oh, he's a, you know, he is a lost boy. Oh yeah, Captain Hook, we'll always be friends. Oh, you can trust me. Like, oh my god. Seeing, like, Rooney Mara and being like, oh, a native. Some fucking bitch at Coachella, a native. Bitch, are you you know, and fucking Snare from fucking Thundercats there, and I just, oh my god, and this totally was trying to have, like, a sequel to it, because at the end they're like, oh, we'll always be fine. Yeah, no, like, no, just no, this movie bombed, like, fuck all, like, no, you know, like, fuck no. I think, I haven't seen Gem and the Holograms, but it probably would have been on this list, from what I heard. Because the fact that this movie the fact that Pan came out in like September and it came out on video in December, but the fact with Gem and Holograms it came out for like 2 weeks and then got pulled, just saying, you know. And my number one worst movie of 2015, 50 Shades of Grey. The best comedy of 2015, 50 Shades of Grey. It's kind of obvious that this was going to be, like, 1, on the list, and 2, was going to be at least, like, the top 5, if not top 3. But, oh my god. I swear, if I didn't go see this with friends, and I saw this by myself, I don't know how I would have been able to handle it. Like, I'm being serious, like, the 3 of us going to see it, like, grabbing our notebooks out and, like, writing all the shit that we're like, what the fuck? Like, they were just doing what I normally do. It's like, oh, this is all wrong, you know, what the fuck, like, what the fucking about the movie. The fact that we were cracking up about it, to the point where, like, one of my freaking lenses came out that day, and I swear, if I had to sit through it by myself, I really don't know, like, I would have probably had to just start, like, binge drinking and, like, shooting heroin to my eyeball kind of stuff. Because this was just awful. Like, I heard the movie was actually better than the book, and that's kind of scary, because this is so awful. Because these 2 people are not likable at all. They are not. You at no point, like, at least feel some sort of, like, sympathy towards the girl, you know? Like, not saying that at all how this is written should anyone like anyone here, because of course, like, as we discussed in the review, that, you know, like, they obviously, the writer, and everyone has said this all over the world, that obviously the writer has no concept of what actual BDSM is. But that aside, even if, like, the guy was being so, like, pushy with it, and the girl was just like, I don't know, like, you would at least feel some type of, like, empathy even with, like, the girl, and being like, oh, well, you know, like, she doesn't know any better, like, at least come, whatever bullshit to, like, be on her side. But, like, you're watching this, and you're on no one's side. You're like, this guy just feels like he just wants to control a bitch, but like, not out of love, but just to be abusive. This girl's dumb, and wants, like, because he's well-known and so attractive, he took his shirt off with one arm, oh my god, nipples, you know, that whole thing. And you can't even feel bad for her, because it's like, oh, you knowingly know this is not, like, a good thing, and you're going along with it, you know? You being like, I want to be with this guy, but then he wants, like, all this, and that's a whole lot of extra, like, in all honesty, it's a whole lot of extra. Because I feel like if you're gonna want to be involved with someone, like, the fact that he drops, like, that whole, like, yeah, I like to hit people. Like, not even, I'm into BDSM. It's literally like, I like to hit women. Oh, okay. She's like, oh, well, that, I guess I'll be fine. Like, it's the whole, like, bullshit of, like, she only likes him, obviously, because he's so attractive, so she's totally fine with being hit by him. And the thing, like, in the review where we're just like, oh, she said, give me your words, and he had, like, studded paddles and all this crazy shit, you know, like, the fucking shit they said on Family Guy was like, oh, violate me with a wine bottle, oh my god, or something. You're like, that's worse than that. And he took, like, a fucking, as Mo said, a blood clot belt, and just whipped her, like, 6 times, and she's like, ah! And you're like, really? Like, pour hot wax? I don't know. There's just so many things wrong with this movie, and the fact that, like, so many things were gray, to be like, oh, get it, because he's gray, his name is Gray, so he's wearing gray, and his logo's gray, his pencils are gray on it, and they're gray pencils, oh my god, blah, 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 blah. And that whole, like, crazy thing, like, she found it cute because it's like, oh, he bought me a new phone and a laptop, I don't have one, and oh my god, he totally got me, like, by the time he went to the part of the car, she's like, oh, this is too much, but, like, motherfucker, he, like, followed you all the way, because you're supposed to be in, like, Seattle or some shit like that, followed you all the way to, was it, like, South Carolina, I don't know, the other side of the U.S., you know, when you're meeting with your family, because he tracked your GPS on your phone that he gave you, yeah, that's not crazy, you know, that's some freaking, like, horrible abusive relationship shit, and it's horrible, and it's disgusting to know that there are people out there that, like, read this and go, I want a Christian Grey in my life. Like, are you fucking kidding me? You know, there's a reason why there's a certain person who's not in my reviews anymore, because that's what I had to deal with after the movie came out. Because it's like, oh my god, this is fucking ridiculous. Like, oh yeah, they tracked you, blah blah. And it's like when people who have never had an actual stalker in their lives say things like, I wish I had a stalker. No, you don't, you crazy bitch. Like, a lot of these people, like, what they want isn't obviously things like that. They just want someone to love them, like, unconditionally, like, affection. Someone to literally just be like, oh my god, like, just kind of falling head over heels for someone, like, that kind of, like, fairy tale kind of shit. They don't want someone who literally, like, follows them all over the place. Like, you don't want to get out, like, you don't want to get out of work and they're, like, there because they somehow knew your work schedule. You don't want, you know, wherever you go for them to just be there. You don't want, like, I don't know, maybe because I don't want randomly be shipped presents or something and then, like, have the fucking random Best Buy guy show up. Like, not even a fucking, you know, Geek Squad dude, a random blue shirt, you know? Oh no, he's just being nice. He's just being nice. He's just showing how much he cares. It's like, no! And use a dumb bitch for agreeing. Like, you could have, like, there's so many times in the movie where she could have fucking walked away. Like, and also there's so much shit that happened, like, pre-contract shit, that she could have, I don't know, just walked away. Just walk away from it and you would have been fine. But instead she's like, let me see on this contract thing. Alright. Red light being, you know, on while they're eating, like, you know, fancy sashimi. And then, like, reading stuff like, anal fisting. And I'm like, fuck. You know, and I'm so glad that the movies aren't, like, the other two aren't happening until the next 2 years. So at least this year, I could fucking go see Deadpool, because last year, we didn't see Kingsman in theaters because we went to go see this shit, you know? And I will, hopefully by then, have, like, a digital recorder, audio recorder, because, oh my fucking Christ, I wish I would have recorded the shit that we were saying during the movie, because that could have been, like, our own, like, Riff Tracks commentary, you know? And then so many times you just hear Mo and I, you just hear, like, because we had, like, our notebooks out, we're just like, what? You know? And the fact that, like, you would just hear, huh, what? From Mo and I, and Glee would just be giggling her ass off because she would miss stuff, but Mo and I would see it immediately, so we'd be, like, questioning it, and she would just have, like, no idea what's going on, but she's cracking up anyway because, you know, like, she's just hearing our, like, stress over it. And the fact that, like, at least when we went to go see it, no one in the audience liked it, because there are parts where we are cracking up on, and so are they. Like, parts where this isn't comedy, like, this is just bad writing, or bad whatever, we're laughing. Because, like we were saying in the review, like, the theater that we went in, it had, like, a balcony, so I usually sit in the balcony anyway, we're, like, dead center, you know, blah blah, I get to see it all nice and shit, and, like, behind us was some chick, and behind a couple aisles was another random chick, but all the way in the back, like, right by where the window where the projector would be, was a dude, and I'm like, that had to be a reviewer. There was no way that dude went to go see, unless he was sitting there masturbating, you know, to random women squealing over this, but, like, yeah, you know, and then there was, like, a couple people, like, downstairs, and they were cracking up too on some parts of the movie. It was fucking ridiculous, you know? Like, oh man, and just, god, fuck. You know, like, like, dumb bitch being blinded by the fact that, like, oh, he has money and whatever. Like, yeah, sometimes money is good, and we all need fucking money. But, bitch, like, oh my god, like, just stupid. Just both of them are fucking stupid. This random popsicle stick on my desk. These stupid people, they're stupid. He's stupid, you know, and she's freaking stupid. And for people who have, like, read these books and feel like this is okay, and it's just completely and utter bullshit, you know? Like, god, what the fuck, man? Like, no. No. You know what I mean? Just fucking no. This is awful. Fuck that. And then the fucking bitch comes out with, like, one book. like, from his perspective kind of shit. I think I was in Barnes & Noble, just obviously bothering Glee with it because I'm a bitch like that. And I'm just, like, opening the random pages and reading it. And she's like, please, she's like, stop, please, stop it, Joe, just stop it, no. And I'm just like, oh, and it's called Grey. Like, bitch needs to stop, alright? Bitch needs to stop. She needs to take a writing workshop. She needs to go back to, like, remedial English in, like, 6th grade. Learn how, like, just, no. Just, oh. No. Just, no. Just, no. No. Fuck that. But, yeah. Oh, and okay, after that, I have 2 honorable mentions. One was Fantastic Four. And I know, like, Glee and I were pretty lenient in our review, but we were just like, it's like we said even in the review, if we were bigger, like, Fantastic Four fans, we would probably be, like, obviously way more pissed off at it. And I'm not, like, in all honesty, I'm not that big a Fantastic Four fan. I just never really cared for those characters. And it's like, I know, like, in the movie, like, the 4 of them never really spoke about their powers to, like, coordinate, like, fight sequences that somehow in the end they were able to, you know, fight off Doom. Yeah, it's just... I felt like we both felt that it was still better than those other 2, where some people were saying like, oh, this is bad, it made you long for those other 2. I'm like, no, no, no. I came out of this not wanting my money back. I came out of Rise of Silver Surfer and demanded my money back, so there's a difference. Or maybe now my tolerance is a lot higher for bad movies. Who fucking knows? But yeah, so that's an honorable mention. And the other one is, it's kind of obvious. It's By the Sea. And the only reason why that one wasn't on the list was, one, I wanted to put freaking Hitman Agent 47 on because I don't remember what happened on it. So just because it was forgettable, put it on there. And 2, like I said 1,000 times in that movie, it's because it was pretty. If it wasn't for the good-ass cinematography and, like, the sets and all that other shit, this movie would have, like, easily been in, like, at least from, like, 10 to 5, at least in the lower end. But yeah, anyway, so that was my fucking list of worst movies of 2015. Yeah. I'm looking at the list like, yeah, most of it's horror. Most of it's horror related, which is funny, because, well, most horror films suck nowadays. But anyway, guess I'll go back to doing my usual bullshit reviews and whatever stuff. But thanks all 50 plus people who follow me and all that stuff. And if you want to, follow me on Instagram, Spaz Out Loud, Tumblr, Spaz Out Loud, DeviantArt if you want to, The Spaz Out Loud, you know, yay. And also, please donate to my GoFundMe to help my dad, and all that stuff, all the links below, all that fun stuff. Yay! I like movies.